All right, Cowboys Nation, let's dive in. This season has been a roller coaster, and I know some of you are feeling frustrated, ready to just throw in the towel and call it quits. But that's not the mindset that builds a team or respects the grind of professional football. We're sitting at 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. And yes, the record isn't perfect, but it's far from a death sentence. There's still a path forward, still a chance to finish second in the division, and anyone ready to give up at this point is missing the bigger picture. The idea that the team needs to lose every game just to secure a high first-round draft pick is completely off base. That's not how this works. Our pick is likely going to be in the middle of the round, so the focus has to be on building the roster the right way, getting healthy, and eliminating excuses. This is about practical, meaningful improvements, not chasing flashy moves for the sake of it. Right now, the defense has too many excuses built into the system, and that starts with injuries, lack of cohesion, and inconsistent execution. We can't just sit back and blame the situation forever. The coaching staff has to address these problems head-on, and the players have to take ownership. There's a responsibility on both sides to get this team back on track, and it begins with discipline, accountability, and focus. Every practice, every meeting, every play matters, because this league punishes teams that tolerate mediocrity or excuses. The offensive side of the ball also has to step up, and yes, our quarterback has faced impossible circumstances for multiple games, yet has performed admirably despite the challenges. Criticism is natural, but it has to be fair and contextual. The offensive line, play calling, and overall execution factor into every down, and when one element struggles, it affects the entire team. Watching last week's game against Denver, it was clear that our defensive front struggled to control the line of scrimmage. The offensive line of the opposition moved us around, created explosive plays, and set the tone early. Credit where it's due, Denver executed well, but that doesn't mean we can ignore our deficiencies. We have to address them quickly, get the players healthy, and put the right people in the right positions. There is no room for a wait-and-see mentality when the season is underway. The team needs to recover, adapt, and sharpen fundamentals. Discipline, focus, and preparation can't be optional. Penalties and mental lapses are costing us, and tightening those screws begins in practice. Every penalty, every breakdown, every missed assignment has a ripple effect that shows up on game day, and those issues cannot persist if we want to compete at a high level. It's also about mentality. Some fans and commentators jump straight to blaming the quarterback whenever things go wrong, ignoring the broader context of protection, play design, and game flow. Dak Prescott has been under relentless pressure for weeks, yet continues to show leadership and resilience. The key is to acknowledge the whole picture. Coaching decisions, line play, situational awareness, and execution all factor into outcomes. Winning football is not about scapegoating a single player. It's about a collective effort where every position contributes, and accountability is distributed fairly. We need to hold everyone to high standards, including coaches, coordinators, and players, without exception. Consistency is a theme that keeps coming up. The team has shown flashes of excellence, stopping the run, protecting the football, winning turnover battles. But those performances aren't steady. One game we dominate, the next we falter, and that inconsistency undermines confidence, rhythm, and results. That's why it's vital to remove excuses and build an environment where players can compete without limitations caused by injuries or inadequate preparation. If the defense is undermanned or out of sync, it becomes a cycle of blame that can carry into future games. Eliminating excuses starts with honesty, being frank about who is available, what is working, and what isn't, and committing to fixing the problems now rather than letting them linger. Coach Brian Schottenheimer's comments after the Denver game highlight this balance. He acknowledged the team's struggles, pointed out areas needing improvement, and emphasized the importance of not letting one loss spiral into multiple failures. That's a crucial mindset in football. One bad game does not define the season, but repeated mistakes and unaddressed weaknesses can. It's also a reminder that positivity alone isn't enough. Players need clear standards, discipline, and accountability. Leadership must address lapses firmly, correct course, and reinforce expectations so the team understands that mediocrity is unacceptable. Winning is built on consistent effort, preparation, and execution, and those habits have to be instilled every single day. On the offensive side, Dak has done his part under pressure, but the supporting cast must step up. The offensive line needs to protect the quarterback, the skill players need to execute precise routes and assignments, and coaches need to call plays that put the team in positions to succeed. When one element falters, the whole offense suffers, and that's been evident at times this season. But criticism must be balanced with acknowledgement of effort, leadership, and adaptability under difficult circumstances. Even in games where the results are disappointing, the resilience shown by players like Dak and contributions from younger players stepping into expanded roles demonstrate that the foundation exists to build a stronger team. Defensively, the focus has to shift toward accountability and innovation. Relying on outdated schemes or complacent approaches isn't effective. The team needs younger, innovative minds in coaching roles to bring fresh perspectives and energy. A first-time defensive coordinator, motivated and prepared, could instill discipline, tighten communication, and maximize player potential. That mindset of continuous improvement, paired with eliminating excuses and emphasizing health and preparation, is the only path forward. This is about creating a team capable of competing week in and week out, not just hoping for talent to magically fix systemic issues. Every coach, every player, every practice must reflect that commitment. We also have to manage the culture and mindset of the team. Celebrating effort and small victories is important, but it can't replace accountability or allow poor habits to persist. Young players stepping into new roles, veterans maintaining professionalism, and the entire roster respecting standards are all part of a successful environment. The balance between positivity and discipline is delicate, but necessary. The Cowboys have shown the talent, they have shown resilience, but now the focus must be on execution, consistency, and removing all excuses. Injuries, penalties, lapses in focus, and inadequate preparation must be addressed decisively. That's how teams recover. That's how they build toward winning. And that's how this season can still produce meaningful results, both in terms of growth and competitive performance. The season is far from over, and the potential is there. It's about maximizing the players on the field, adjusting schemes where necessary, and reinforcing a culture of accountability and excellence. Every coach, every player, every staff member has a role to play in this process. Practice habits, discipline, and preparation are non-negotiable. Learning from losses, correcting mistakes, and staying committed to a high standard will determine how this team finishes the year. The focus is clear. Get healthy, tighten the roster, enforce discipline, innovate in coaching, and execute at a level that reflects the talent and potential this team possesses. Every game is an opportunity, every practice a chance to improve, and the mindset has to be about building toward long-term success while addressing immediate challenges with urgency, clarity, and accountability. One of the biggest issues we've seen this season is the lack of consistency on defense, and it starts with mindset and accountability. You can't have talented players and expect wins if there's no discipline, if assignments aren't followed, and if communication breaks down under pressure. Every missed tackle, every blown coverage, every misread adds up and shifts momentum to the opposition. That's what we saw against Denver. The offense put in effort, tried to execute, but the defense repeatedly failed to hold its ground. And it's not about a lack of heart. These players are giving their all, but heart alone doesn't cover gaps, it doesn't fix misalignments, and it doesn't stop explosive plays from big, well-prepared opponents. It's about preparation, technique, and mental sharpness, and that's where coaching has to step up. Young, innovative defensive minds need opportunities, and players need clear, enforceable standards to follow. The offense has to complement that defensive improvement. Dak Prescott has been under immense pressure for weeks, and while some fans want to blame him for losses, the reality is more nuanced. He's managing a line that's inconsistent, skilled players who are adjusting to injuries and rotations, and play calling that sometimes puts him in challenging situations. Yet he continues to show poise, leadership, and a focus on each individual play. Mistakes happen, but the point is to minimize them through preparation, protection, and execution. The offensive line must step up to give Dak time. Receivers have to run clean routes and secure catches, and coaches must call plays that maximize the team's strengths while accounting for weaknesses. Football is a team sport, and it's only as strong as its weakest link, which is why a collective approach is essential. Another layer is health. Injuries have impacted key positions, and that's created gaps that are difficult to cover. But excuses for health issues have to end. If players are cleared to play, they need to perform, and the staff needs to adjust schemes to maximize the available talent. That includes supplementing the roster in meaningful ways, rather than overextending on high-risk trades or flashy moves. Focus on adding the right pieces, allowing injured players to recover fully, and creating a team that can execute without depending on luck or circumstances. Every practice, every walkthrough, every rep matters. You can't win in this league on talent alone. Preparation and execution define outcomes. Discipline is another critical factor. Penalties have been a recurring issue, and they kill momentum, negate big plays, and put the team in tough situations. Red zone execution is also vital. Settling for field goals instead of touchdowns, or failing to capitalize on turnovers, shifts momentum away from the Cowboys and empowers the opposition. Coaches and players must internalize these lessons. It's not enough to acknowledge mistakes. You have to correct them immediately and enforce accountability. That's what separates teams that recover from setbacks from teams that fall into losing streaks. A disciplined, focused team can take a loss, learn from it, and come back stronger. The culture of the team also matters. Celebrating small victories is important for morale, but it cannot replace accountability. Young players stepping into expanded roles, veterans maintaining standards, and the coaching staff enforcing discipline all contribute to a culture that breeds success. Positivity must be balanced with realism. Acknowledging effort without excusing failures ensures players know where they stand and what is expected. This balance between encouragement and accountability is essential for a team that wants to compete at the highest level. Looking at the bigger picture, it's clear the Cowboys have talent and potential, but realizing that potential requires structure, preparation, and execution. The offensive line has to protect the quarterback, receivers must make plays, and the defense has to operate with discipline and intelligence. Coaching decisions must reflect the reality of the team's strengths and weaknesses, and adjustments must be made without delay. Every practice session should focus on eliminating mistakes, building cohesion, and reinforcing fundamentals. Health, readiness, and proper game planning are non-negotiable components of a team capable of sustaining success. Quarterback performance, while critical, is only one piece of the puzzle. To blame Dak Prescott solely for losses ignores the complexity of football. Protection schemes, defensive pressure, play design, and in-game adjustments all factor into offensive efficiency. Similarly, defensive performance cannot be evaluated in isolation. Injuries, scheme execution, and coordination among players impact results. Accountability must be distributed across the board, ensuring that every player, every coach, and every staff member is contributing to the team's collective success. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. Tension is simmering in Dallas, and insiders say it's closer to boiling over than ever. Rumors have been circulating that Dak Prescott, the Cowboys' star quarterback, has requested to start in Week 4, a move that has reportedly been flatly denied by head coach SCHOTTENHEIMER. Sources close to the team suggest that this isn't just a minor disagreement. The locker room, led by standout receiver CeeDee, is reportedly frustrated and confused. According to whispers from within the organization, Prescott's request came after a string of practices where he felt he wasn't being utilized to his full potential. Dak wants to lead. He wants to be on the field when it matters most, said a source who asked to remain anonymous. But Schottenheimer, known for his rigid game planning and cautious approach, has allegedly refused the request, insisting that the team follow the established rotation and progression plan. The tension hasn't gone unnoticed. CeeDee, normally calm and focused, is reportedly speaking out quietly among teammates. Insiders say the wide receiver and other key figures are questioning the coach's decision-making, suggesting that the delay in letting Prescott take the helm could be affecting team morale. It's hard when you see the quarterback ready, capable, and the decision isn't yours to make, one player reportedly told a journalist in a private setting. Some speculate that this standoff could have long-term repercussions for Dallas. Fans on social media are already divided, with some defending Schottenheimer's disciplined approach and others urging the front office to listen to their star quarterback. Meanwhile, rumors suggest that discussions behind closed doors have grown heated, with general managers and assistant coaches trying to mediate before the situation spirals further. Though no official statements have been made, the buzz is undeniable. The Cowboys' locker room might be facing one of the most dramatic early-season shakeups in recent memory. With Prescott pushing for action and Schottenheimer standing firm, insiders say that tensions could continue to rise, and the next few weeks could determine the real power dynamics in Dallas. As of now, all eyes are on the team's next practice, where many will be watching to see if the simmering discord turns into something more visible. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.